Hello and welcome to my hologram tutorial. So this is about how to actually edit a hologram video to make it work once it goes on YouTube, and then you put the prism on the top so it actually works. So it's a bit tricky in terms of editing. It needs to be filmed well. We'll be doing that in lessons. So you need 4 cameras around the subject if you want to make it full 3D. So in terms of editing it, we've got all the footage from 4 different cameras. And I'm going to give you this cross bit here, okay, which helps you guide you where you need to put your footage when you put it together. And then you'll end up with four separate images that go on together that get played out. Now, obviously, it's quite tricky trying to get them all lined up. Here's an example from a class I've used before. So the perk here is that we have they're all actually 3D, so you can walk around the prism and see. Tilly from the front, from the side, and then from the back as well. And you want to remember the bottom of it on the inside is the bottom of the picture. Top. We're going to do a closer up, just like a head, floating heads against a black background, which hopefully should work quite well. So once you've got your 4 different bits of camera footage, what I've done here is I've got the hollow lines, which is this bad boy up here. Okay, and then underneath it I've got jellyfish, just to give you a demonstration. So if I just switch that off, you can see my jellyfish behind. There we go. Now, to make this work easier, if you click on the hollow lines that's above the jellyfish, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this layer over in my effects controls. I'm going to change it from normal to screen. And what that does is it turns anything black invisible. So when we do that, I can go back to my footage here, and I can see my jellyfish, which I've robbed off the internet, is in the background. But obviously the jellyfish just kind of covers everything, which actually probably might look quite cool actually, but we want it to be in one of the sections so we can then move it around. So imagine this was one of the floating heads that we're going to use for the hologram. We want to be able to move it into place. So to do that, obviously first of all select on the video footage that you need, and then you get it's everything playing over here to get this done. So first of all, we need to get it sort of in the right position, okay, which is just using these bits here, scale and then position. So if I turn the scale down like that, that's not too bad. Okay, and then I can start to move it up into place. I want it to just sort of hit the top without going out. That's maybe a little bit big, because you've got to remember there'll be like an empty square in the middle, which is where the prism will sit. Pyramid, whatever you want to call it. Right, so that's in position. The downside is obviously that this cuts over the edge where the next camera shot will be. So we have to mask that. If you've not used masks before, oh, they're amazing. Over here, with these, and you've got the options: oval, a creative 4-point polygon mask, and then a freehand, which is a bit of a nightmare. They are good, difficult to use. We're just going to use this one here. So if I go back and then I click on that, it drops in a mask, so it cuts off, effectively cropping it, but it's better than a crop when really using this. And then the really cool thing is I can just drag this out, and I can go over my white lines that I've got, and get it to run along those white lines, which is then not going to cause any trouble. And there it is. It's in, which is great. So that's the first one done. I can obviously switch off not that one. Switch off the line, so when I play it back, it would work absolutely fine. So, for example, if I jump over here, I've actually already got one of them ready. He says that, and then it goes and ruins everything. Got my hollow lines. I've got a small one here, so if I wanted to make this work, I go back to my jellyfish back here and then do same again. So the side ones I would rotate. You can also flip. If you get one of them right, you can just flip it. So I can go over on rotation. If I do -90, does that? Yes, it does. So then I can just move that into place. Okay, and then start masking it, and it doesn't seem to take that long to end up with your 4 video bits of footage. And like I say, if you do either side, I could have just duplicated that layer and then flipped it. But it's quite good because it gets you playing around with masks and stuff as well. So in theory, this would now actually press play. There you go. That from hologram wise, it would work from two sides quite well, which is a bonus. Oh, got butterflies on top of jellyfish. Isn't that amazing? Right, give that a whirl. I hope it works. Marvellous. Enjoy.